We are in the month of March, so that means it is time to do some draft content. And with the Rockets sort of reeling on the season and looking less likely to get in the play-in, I think it's about time we start looking at some draft prospects. What's going on, my people? It's your boy AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter at AKInfinity_VVS. This is the Rockets Propaganda Channel. In this video, we're going to look at 5 possible draft selections that the Rockets could make, given their spot, the situation, and their actual needs. They're in no particular order. These are just 5 guys that I like that I think could add some value to our team this coming season, well, next season. Before we get into it though, hit my like button. You like the video, you already like the content. Leave a comment for me down below. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We in here.
Drop this in the...
We're going to start with the guards that I like for our team next year, and then we'll go into looking at the centers. So the first person we're going to talk about today is Isaiah Collier. Big guard out of USC, man. Strong athlete, finishes well around the basket. I really like his size. I like his upside. Like if the Rockets were going to go for like an upside swing, depending on where they land their picks at, or where their picks land at rather, this is a guy that I think could definitely be a lead guard in the NBA. He's so over there at USC, you know, they're kind of struggling right now, but coming out of high school, Isaiah Collier was like a highly touted player. Like I said, man, big 6'5", 210 pounds. So we're going to look at the season averages: 16.3 points, 4.2 assists, 2.8 rebounds, 1.6 steals, 0.2 blocks, 3.2 turnovers in 29.5 minutes a game. Now, obviously, the scoring is okay, but the rebounding, I don't really like. For a guard that big, you would expect him to be closer to 4 or 5 rebounds. And 1.6 steals is okay, but what kind of bothers me too, again, is the 3.2 turnovers. But if you watch USC play, it's like it's an uphill climb from the beginning of the game. Yeah, they're not very good. They have a losing record, as a matter of fact. Let's look at his shooting splits: 48% from the field, 30% from 3. He takes a lot of bad threes, though. I'm not gonna lie, he takes some bad threes. His jumper is not all the way there yet, but I think some of his efficiency issues from 3, at least, are a matter of trying to press too much, trying to shoot too much, trying to get the team back in the game. If you look at his free throw percentage, 66.4, leaves a little bit to be desired as a lead ball handler, lead guard. But he's getting to the free throw line, 6.2 free throw attempts a game, which is really good. You love to see that. You really love to see that. Look at his average in wins. In their 10 wins, he has 16.7 points a game, 5.2 assists, 3.2 rebounds, 1.6 steals, no blocks, which is funny, 2.9 turnovers. So I don't really like his assist to turnover ratio. You at least want to be a 2-to-1. This isn't exactly that. But again, bad team, guys aren't exactly making shots, and he's he's having to press a little bit more than he'd like. And if you look at his number in the 12 losses that they've had, 16 points, 3.4 assists, which is almost 2 down from in the wins, 2.5 rebounds, again 1.6 steals, 0.4 blocks, 3.5 turnovers a game in 29 minutes a game. Yeah, you don't ever want your turnovers, especially as a point guard, to be more than your assists. But again, the team's not very good. He's pretty much their only guy, pretty much. They got LeBron's son over there, but I think he's still a work in progress. Player comps that I've seen for him, and I can kind of see a little bit. Eric Bledsoe, if you guys remember Eric Bledsoe, He wasn't exactly 6'5", he was more like 6'1", but he was a strong physical guard, very tough on defense. He used to go at it with Russell Westbrook of all people. I can kind of see that a little bit. Even defensively, some I can see that a little bit. But his upside is more Baron Davis, and I can see the Baron Davis, the strong athletic part, the handles, is the big body. I can see that. If you guys remember, I'm kind of showing my age, but man, Baron Davis, they used to call him B Diddy. Man, Baron Davis is one of the most electrifying guards in NBA history. If you ask me, he had one dunk in the playoffs against, I think it was Andre Karolinko. It was a nasty dunk. You guys go look that up. But let's go ahead and get on to the next prospect. So, as you guys know, some of y'all that know me, you see how I speak on Twitter. I've been talking about this guy right here, Rob Dillingham, man. I really like him, man. 6'3" guard, 175, so he's a little bit light in the pants. But it's all good because he's lightning quick, man. He is lightning quick. And if you know me, full disclosure, man, I stand Kentucky guards. If you look at the league right now, it is littered with Kentucky guards. It's littered with Kentucky players, but it is especially littered with Kentucky guards all over the place. If I start naming them, y'all gonna start looking at me funny. De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, SGA. I mean, need I say more? We'll go back a little bit. You can look at John Wall. People forget John Wall coming out. He was a number 1 draft pick coming out of Kentucky back. I think it was in forget the year, but John Wall was a bad man. John Wall was a really bad man. You can go back to Brandon Knight was another guy who was really good till he got hurt. But there's been a litany of Kentucky guards all over the NBA, man, and it's almost a sure thing. Tyler Hero is another guy. It's almost a sure thing that when you get a Kentucky guard, they're going to be at least good. So let's look at the season averages. On the season, he's averaging 14.8 points, 3.8 assists, 2.9 rebounds, 1.1 steals, 0.1 blocks, 1.9 turnovers. We're gonna round up and say 2 turnovers in 22.9 minutes. And he's shooting, look at his shooting splits, 48.3% from the field, 44.5 from 3, 75.6 free throw shooting percentage, and he's getting there about 3 times a game. He's doing all this in 22 minutes, 23 minutes, I say. Pete this, guys, he's coming off the bench. He's actually coming off the bench. And if you watch Kentucky play, he's their go-to guy, man. He really is their go-to guy. Let's go through those numbers and then I'll talk about his player comps here too. Averaging wins, in their 19 wins, he's averaging 13.9 points, 4.2 assists, 3.2 rebounds, 1.2 steals, 0.1 blocks, 1.9 turnovers in 22 minutes a game. And then in losses, in their 8 losses, he's at 16.9 points, 2.9 assists, 2 rebounds, 1.1 steals, 0.1 blocks, 1.9 turnovers in 24.6 minutes. So one thing about college basketball is the really good teams, a lot of times their best players' numbers are going to look better in losses because more times than not, those losses are like closer games where you're not having to sit your best players at the end of the game. And that's kind of why, if you look at why his numbers are skewed this way, it kind of looks like, if you just look at the raw numbers, you would think, hey, they're losing when he's doing too much. That's not necessarily the case. It's more about their losses being closer games. And if you look, he's even playing 2 more minutes a game in those losses. But if you just look at his look at his season average and you look at his numbers and wins, and he and this is, mind you, this is on a completely stacked Kentucky team. Kentucky has about, I want to say, they might have like 7 guys get drafted this year, man. 4 of them in the first round. There's a lot of guys coming out of Kentucky this season, man. One of them not even playing this season. There's a lot of guys coming out of Kentucky this season, and hey, man, one thing about Kentucky players, They're at least decent. Let's look at his player comps. Kemba Walker. I can see a little bit of Kemba Walker because Rob is quick. I mean, his handles are stupid quick. He got a nice bag. He got a mid-range game. He can take it to the rim, and he's so fast you're not even touching him. He's got a nice three-point stroke. He's got a jumper, man. Some people don't believe that his jumper is real. I don't understand why. If you watch, when he's hitting tough shots, he's hitting easy shots, he's hitting shots from all over the place. He's a shooter. He can shoot. He can shoot that thing. I think that's a skill that's going to at least translate. And on our team that we're trying to build, we need shooters, man. Rob Dillingham can shoot that rock. I'll tell you right now. Another player comp that I've seen from is Brandon Jennings. I can see that. Kind of the same kind of build. Rob Dillingham was taller. Brandon Jennings was like 6'1", 6'2". And he was really athletic too. And Brandon Jennings also used to get some Allen Iverson comparisons. I've actually seen some people compare Rob Dillingham to Allen Iverson, the way he plays. And I can see some of the shades of AI. But AI was not as efficient as Rob Dillingham. But we'll see. Player comps are never really one-to-one. But we'll see. Another thing about Rob too is he's a combo guard, but in the NBA he could be a lead guard. His handle's good enough to be a lead guard, and then his court vision is actually more solid than you would think. The numbers don't really jump out at you like that because, like I said, their team is so stacked. So he's not averaging like 6 or 7 assists, and he easily could on another team in another school. If he was, let's say for example, if he was playing for like Michigan State, he easily averaged 7 points, or 7 more points a game, maybe 7 assists. His numbers will look a whole lot different. I can tell you that. But in the NBA, his defense too. His defense, I think, is a little bit of a question mark, but it's okay. I mean, point guards, guards in general, they just need to be competent. They just can't be a cone. And if you have a good team concept defense, you can get away with having, one guard not being maybe the best defensive player. But that's something that I think can get coached. Now, let's go on to the next prospect. Now, next player I want to talk about is another Kentucky guard, Reed Sheppard. This is a guy that a lot of people in the draft circles have been really high on, and if you watch him play, you'll kind of see why, man. Bro got one of the most deadly jumpers I ever seen in college basketball, man. Don't let his averages, his scoring averages kind of fool you, because he can go get buckets too. He's 19 years old, 6'3", 187. I think he's a little bigger than 187. If you watch him, he kind of swole, man. Like he that 187, I don't think is as accurate. That may be in his high school weight. He may be closer to 195 right now. Let's look at the season averages though. 12.5 points a game, 4.2 assists, 4.4 rebounds, 2.7 steals, which is nuts. 0.8 blocks, 1.9 turnovers, and 28.6 minutes a game. Now check this out, guys. His shooting splits. He's shooting 53.8% from the field, 51.7% from three, 83% from the free throw line. He's only getting to the free throw line 2.1 times a game. Holy smokes. We'll get to the player comps in a second. His averages and wins: 11.4 points, 4.6 assists, 4.2 rebounds, 2.9 steals, crazy. 0.8 blocks, 1.6 turnovers, 28.2 minutes a game. In the 8 losses, 15.3 points, 3.4 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 2.3 steals, 0.9 blocks, almost a block a game. 2.6 turnovers, and 29 minutes a game, almost 30 minutes a game. Also, another fun fact about Reed Sheppard, he comes off the bench too. So him and Rob Dillingham come off the bench, raising absolute hell against other teams because both of them can shoot it, handle it. And both of them can run your offense. It's it's very frustrating if you're a defense and you're watching that and you're like, man, what do I do? Because I got to pick this one guy up. I got to pick them both up at the three-point line. And Rob is so quick, he's so fast, he can get to the rim. And if you for a second blink, Rob is going to find Reed Sheppard at the three-point line, and it's done. If he shoots the ball, it's probably going in. Look at the probability. It's 1 in 2 chance that it's going to go in at least. So I'm gonna talk about his game a little bit more. So look at his player comps: Kirk Hinrich and Alex Caruso. I really don't like to do the whole, oh, he's a white guy, we're gonna compare him to other white guys. But if you watch, he plays like them. He really does play like them. So Kirk Hinrich is probably the lower end. Kirk Hinrich used to be a solid defensive player, really good shooter. Used to be with those Ben Gordon and those Ben Gordon, Joakim Noah, Chicago Bulls teams. He was, I wouldn't say he was the point guard or something. He was also the 2. They had a kind of a funny setup with that team back then. But his defense was pretty strong. He was 6'5", and Reed is 6'3". But Reed is like really tough. Like he's pesky. Like if you pass the ball anywhere near him, he's gonna jump that passing lane, and chances are he's gonna get that ball, and they're gonna go on a fast break. He rebounds pretty solidly for his size too, at the point guard. Well, at the guard position, which I do like. I've seen the Alex Caruso comparisons. I can kind of see it a little bit. He kind of thrives in chaos. His handle is pretty good, but I wouldn't say he has like lead guard handles. He could probably play it in spots. He could play point guard in spots. He could run offense in a pinch if you really need him to. But where he makes his money is that shooting, man. He is human spacing. He is human spacing. When he's on the floor, you have to account for him because, like I said, if he shoots the ball, just go ahead and start walking back, get back on defense, man, or get back on offense. If he shoots the ball, if you're on his team, just go ahead and get back on defense. You good. If you're on the other team, just take the ball, just stand out of bounds, take the ball out, because he ain't missing that thing. Reed Sheppard is really nice though, man. He's a hooper. Tough, like I said, man, tough guard. I'm not as high on him as a lot of other people are, but maybe I'm off, and as chances are I'm probably off because, again, Kentucky guards. Now we're going to get into big men. I know one thing that we really need on the Rockets team is some size to back up Alperen Sengun. Alperen Sengun is our best player, and I don't like the idea of our best player not having an insurance policy. Because if Alperen Sengun goes down, I don't think we win any games. And we actually saw that play out. We saw that play out. Kyle Filipowski, though, 20 years old. He's a sophomore, 7 foot, 247. They got him listed as power forward and center. In the NBA, he's likely going to be more center. I don't think he really has the feet to play power forward, and he might not even have the feet to be a starting center, but he'll be a solid backup. Let's go into his numbers though. Season averages 16.6 points, 2.9 assists, 8.3 rebounds, a steal, 1.6 blocks, 2.3 turnovers in 30 minutes a game. Shooting splits 50% from the field, which obviously is solid for a center. 34.4%, which is good for a college center. 66.2 free throw percentage. He's getting to the free throw line 5 times a game. In Duke's 22 wins, he's averaging 15.7 points, 3.1 assists, 8.5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1.7 blocks, 2.4 turnovers in 29.5 minutes a game. In their 6 losses, he's averaging 20 points, 2.2 assists, 7.5 rebounds, a steal, 1.3 blocks, 1.8 turnovers, and 33.8 minutes a game. Player comps for him: Vlade Divac and Troy Murphy. So, Kyle Filipowski is an interesting player. because he does have potential to be a starter depending on how the team is built around him, depending on what the ancillary parts are. I don't think he's going to be like a superstar type center or a star center even at that. He'll be a strong rotation center, I think. He's got some passing chops to him too. Duke can kind of run their offense through the high post a little bit or mid post through him a little bit. He's got decent court vision. He can shoot it, obviously. Good rebounder. His defense against other bigs that are not like super athletic. He's pretty much Alperen Sengun on defense. Let's put it to you like that. Against, more slow-footed. I'm from the South. We say slew-footed. Against slew-footed centers, he's pretty good. He can handle his zone there. But in the NBA, you got these big, strong, and fast guys, and he's going to kind of struggle against those kind of players, especially those pick and roll type dive, rim running type bigs. He'll struggle to defend in space some, but I think he seems very coachable too. I think he's got enough IQ to kind of make up for that in different ways. But if you're looking at his defense, think of his defense similar to Alperen Sengun, except he's bigger, obviously, 7 feet tall. The wingspan numbers haven't come out on any of these guys that I'm covering today, but I could probably do an update video or some shorts kind of covering those measurements. But his player comes Vlade Divac, Troy Murphy. The Vlade Divac part is more about kind of more his passing and kind of his athletic profile. He's not like super athletic, but he's not like a slouch either. He's solidly athletic. He's NBA athletic. But the Troy Murphy part is probably closer because of the shooting and the rebounding, the combination of shooting and rebounding. Don't let the percentages fool you. I think he'll be a better. He'll represent himself better than that percentage does in the long term when it gets to the league. But I think that's another reason why he's a guy that I would like coming off the bench, backing up Alperen Sengun next season if possible. Somebody like him would be somebody we maybe trade out of the lottery and get it in the middle of the draft, maybe in the back third of the draft, or in the first round at least, to try to grab him. I don't think he's a lottery guy. I've seen a couple mock drafts that have him in the lottery. I think it's gonna have to depend on what shakes up in the lottery, who takes who, what order the lottery is gonna be, fit, all different kind of stuff. All type of crazy things can happen in the draft. But let's go ahead and move on to our final guy that I'm gonna talk about today. So I know some of y'all have heard of him, Kel'el Ware. 7 foot, 230 pounds, center from Indiana. He was actually a transfer from Oregon. He was an Oregon Duck last season. Sophomore. I'm really high on him. I see him a lot of. He's fallen in some drafts, and I don't really understand why. In some mock drafts, he's fallen into the 20s and the late 20s, as a matter of fact. I'm a little higher on him than a lot of other people, just because I kind of see some upside there. Let's go through the numbers. On the season, he's averaging 15.6 points, 1.5 assists, 9 rebounds, 0.5 steals, 1.8 blocks, 1.4 turnovers in 31 minutes a game. 58% field goal percentage, which is really good. He's shooting 43.8% from 3, but don't let that fool you. It's very low volume, but he's got shooting upside. 65.3% free throw shooter, 4.7 free throw attempts a game. Now, in the Hoosiers' 14 wins, 16.1 points, 1.8 assists, 8.4 rebounds, 0.6 steals, 1.9 blocks, a turnover in 30 minutes a game. In their 11 losses, 14.9 points, 1.1 assists, 10 rebounds, 0.4 steals, 1.7 blocks, 1.8 turnovers in 32 minutes a game. Player comps. This one is me. Clint Capella with shooting upside. That's kind of how I see him. I've also seen him compared to Jarrett Allen. I see some Jarrett Allen. I think he's probably a little bit more athletic than Jarrett Allen, but the dimensions are sort of similar. 7 footers. I think Kel'el Ware is a little bigger than Jarrett Allen was when he was coming out of Texas, though. He's slightly bigger than he was, just weight-wise, strength-wise, a little stronger. He will still need to get stronger in the NBA too. I kind of see the Clint Capella with upside, with the shooting upside. He defends. He's a really good defensive player as it is, like right now. He's a very good defensive player, and I think as we get closer to the draft, he'll get more shine, and he might start shooting up some draft boards. But right now, Indiana isn't doing as great as some maybe expected when he transferred, so his draft stock isn't looking like what some were probably thinking beforehand. But he's got some shooting touch. He's very strong, rim running type big, but he can pick and pop a little bit. Like I said, he's shooting three from very low volume, like less than one a game. But when he shoots it with confidence. Like I said, he could defend in space. He's really good actually defending in space. I wouldn't say you can switch him on to like a James Harden and just be comfortable with it, but he can switch and recover. Show and recover. Back to his man, pretty athletically. If you got him in a tandem with another, with like a good wing defender, I think that'll be very, very chaotic. Like now, imagine him backing up Şengün, and you got guys like Tari Eason and Amen Thompson in the game with Jabari. Like that's a lot of length on the floor. Pause. That's a lot of length, and you might as well just go one-on-one, because you pass the ball, you either gonna get the ball stolen or you're gonna get blocked. Something bad gonna happen to you. You pass the ball. Just go one-on-one, go to the rim, and let Kel'el Ware block your shot. But he's nice though, man. I think this is another guy that I think, in case he doesn't shoot up on draft boards, I think there's another guy we can kind of trade out of the lottery to grab. That's something that I would actually prefer to do. I don't think we should draft another lottery guy. I don't think if we can trade that pick, depending on wherever it falls, if we could trade that pick and get some assets out of it. But tell me what you guys think below about these draft picks. I like Kel'el Ware a lot. I don't know who I'm leaning towards the most, but I like Kel'el Ware. But yeah, like I said before, man, these are just some of the guys who like I said before, just feel like would be a good fit on the team. Even Isaiah Collier, even though his shooting isn't really all that great right now, I like the fact that he does provide some rim pressure and gets to the free throw line at a good rate. And I think that's a skill set that we could really take advantage of on our team. But what do you think also about Rob Dillingham and his shot creation and his shooting, as well as Reed Sheppard? What you think about Kyle Filipowski and his size and shooting and ability as a backup big? And what do you think about Kel'el Ware as well? That's another guy, like I said, I'm pretty high on. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. If you're still with me at this point, then you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's anybody I missed out on. If I was off about anything, let me know. I ain't afraid of being wrong. This is your boy AK Infinity. Once again, follow me on Twitter at AKInfinity_VVS. This is the Rockets Propaganda Channel. Thanks for listening, and we out.